there's a screenshot from Discord that says, "Hi Mossy, here are my numbers for the lean parameter set up in VTuber Studio for your reference. I feel that lean toggles in general are more effective when the model is zoomed into the face and may feel a bit lackluster with full body, so that may be why you feel like it's more of a slouching movement." So this one's a bit different as most of it is deleted, so most of it is screenshots that I managed to save. But I still think this one would be quite interesting to cover. So yeah, here it is. It all started when Mossy Fox on February 17 posted, "Paying extra for my model's lean physics, what I expected," and it's a video showing like lean forward physics, and then it also showed what they got. I didn't manage to save the video, but that's what was being shown. And they say, "I mean, I was given the option to pay one of their artists who has me blocked for some reason more money to fix it, which was so kind of them." And then Ghoulie asked, "Wait, OMG, who's this model from?" And Mossy Fox says, "It started with Tsukai Eri, artist and rigger, and then they joined Rebirth Studio halfway through the process. The manager is who told me to essentially just deal with it or pay the studio more money to fix it, plus all the other issues, lol." And then Rebirth Studio retweeted, "I'm not sure, but I think this is the studio's manager saying, I will not stand idly by while the studio I pour my heart into every day and my co-workers I care deeply about are unjustly maligned by individuals who did not express their expectations when it mattered most. In due time, a full post with clear evidence will be shared." And then I'm not sure what they're replying to, but Mossy Fox says, "And the fact that we're well aware it was quote unquote lackluster and still wanted me to pay them more to fix it." And there's a screenshot from Discord that says, "Hi Mossy, here are my numbers for the lean parameter set up in VTuber Studio for your reference. I feel that lean toggles in general are more effective when the model is zoomed into the face and may feel a bit lackluster with full body, so that may be why you feel like it's more of a slouching movement." And as a rigger, I actually have a hard time doing lean forwards. But that's why it's so important to actually talk to your client and make sure they're satisfied if it's something you're not that confident in. And I feel that many artists or people who do commissions in general lack the customer service skills that are needed for this. And then another VTuber, Pandesa VT, did a long tweet that was retweeted by Mossy Fox that says, "Since we wanna get sloppy, let's do this. Open to read everything. First, let me point out that the issue here is not predominantly with the studio, but with the actions of people within the studio. I personally have had issues with the artist Tsukai Eri for 5+ years. I have been her model child. While I love Eri and genuinely wish her the best, the absolute lack of customer service and follow-through has been so severe, not only with me, that she has been labeled as scammer since many years prior to our involvement. I have talked Eddie up time and time again for years to many friends, and some of them are still missing commissions from over 3 years ago. It took everything I had to stand up for her and get Mossy Fox, who has a substantial following, to accept commissioning someone with such a terrible record. I only agreed because I tested that I would manage the commission. Not only did Eri fail to follow through to expectations, but I was removed from managing the commission by Eri before we ever reached out to Miura. Now, our issues with Miura are very minimal and could very easily be addressed and concluded. From my personal interactions with them, Miura has been professional. Their fault lies in failing to manage expectations, failing to manage their artists as promised, and asking for more money for files when the files were requested, instead of offering a refund for failed and botched work that was completed by their artist Eric. Mossy deserves no less than a refund for the link toggle that was supposed to be part of the original order, and for which she paid extra. I got my model rigged by Cyberpunk, and I absolutely love it. Cypher was amazing, until I was ghosted as of December 2025. I have reached out through Discord, X/Twitter, and VGen. They post regularly, but have not responded to my request about a toggle I offered to pay for on my model, While that could be easily swept under the rug as them being busy, we do not believe this is the case, as they have blocked Mossy Fox and have never spoken to her. While this is a speculation, we are happy to discuss it and move on. We believe that Eri and Miura potentially have slandered our names to the point that a reputable artist will not engage with us. For Saipur and Miura, again, this could be easily fixed and reconciled through a conversation, one that has yet to be provided to us. For Eri, also let's forget all the stuff we provided outside of payment for your comfort. Give Mossy a damn refund for the lien. It's 100 USD for crying out loud. And then Pandesa also shared some DMs with Eri that reads, "Do you have another deadline since we have now blown past the fourth deadline in a month? Make sure you are clearly going to miss Mossy's deadline of October 1st. If we're a month behind on mine, there's no way hers will be done in a month." And Eri says, "I honestly don't want to be rude. I just had my short break from graduation yesterday." And Eri says, "Just let me work at peace." And Pandesa says, "I completely understand that you've been tired and busy, and I've tried to be as accommodating as possible, often backing off whenever deadlines slip. That said, when deadlines are missed repeatedly, including ones you set yourself, and there's no communication ahead of time, it comes across as very unprofessional. If I've ever seemed impatient or come across too strongly, I do apologize, but please also try to see it from my perspective. I've been voicing this concern for years, and despite continuing to support you, even referring you to people I know and trust, the same pattern has persisted with both myself and others. At this point, I've truly reached my limit with this. While I adore you as both a person and an artist, this will have to be our last project together. Please just finish the art, and I'll make arrangements with someone else for the rigging. At this point, I am more worried about you fulfilling Mossy's project, as she has been burned the most, and you missing her deadline will be absolutely unacceptable." And Aries says, "I get that you're frustrated, I really do, but even till now, my body is still fatigued. I'm tired." And Aries says, "It's not helping me with sleep. I've been getting nightmares." And Pandesa says, "Do you just want to call it and cancel the whole order? Because honestly, this feels like a slap in the face. I'm not the one missing deadline after deadline. You promised and swore up and down we would make them, but every single one was blown. I'm heartbroken over how toxic this back and forth has become, with broken promises and now what feels like gaslighting, making me feel guilty for deadlines you didn't meet. I've acknowledged that you did me a favor, which is why I've tried very hard to keep my cool and give grace, even when I already said enough is enough. At this point, I need clarity on whether you truly want to follow through and deliver it today, or if we should just end this here and refund everything, including the money for the keyboard and mouse and shipping." Damn, this is intense. I can see Pandesa really was trying. And then Mossy Fox retweeted their original tweet and says, "Holy shit, I was not expecting this to pop off like that. I've had so many people offer to re-rig her, and I appreciate you all so much. Unfortunately, they won't hand over the PSD files without a fee, but I've already got a model in the works by the amazing artist Wyvern Nova X." And then Pandesa made another tweet. "Apologies and clarification regarding cyberpunk and note on VTuber drama. Regarding the rigger mentioned below, I reached out to their Discord server yesterday after realizing I had missed the September 1st post prior to everything that occurred. The oversight was a misunderstanding on my part, and I take full responsibility for it. As I previously stated, I genuinely love the rig and the service provided. The work was exceptional, and I do not dispute that. My frustration stemmed from the coincidental timing of events. It felt unusually aligned, especially since I had not received communication, and Mossy was blocked. They have since taken the time to fully clarify the situation. I sincerely respect the effort they put into their response and the professionalism they have consistently demonstrated. I acknowledge my misunderstanding and accept responsibility for it. Regarding the perception of this as VTuber drama, I want to clarify that I have dealt with this level of disrespect and repeated missed deadlines from the model artist for 5 years. I have the receipts from my and Moz's group chat with Eri and my chats with Eri over the years. During that time, I made numerous compromises, rescheduling dates, canceled the builds, and even paid additional fees for rushed rigging on multiple occasions to accommodate the artist. When the Reddit post was brought to my attention by several individuals, I defended Eri and put my own reputation on the line, because I believed she was a talented artist and that people can grow and improve. Again, I have the receipt for this as well, however, I don't know how my siblings feel about being added to all this. Unfortunately, I ultimately became another statistic in what many refer to as the Eri experience. In my personal experience, Miura was the one who was able to correct the issue, and for that I give her full credit. Out of respect for Miura, I remained silent regarding Eri for 5 months. I would have continued to do so had there been any acknowledgement of responsibility or a genuine attempt to resolve the issue in an amicable manner. Requesting additional payment when the original expectations were not met does not include a good faith effort to rectify the situation. We are not seeking conflict. Rather, we are requesting an acknowledgement of the error. At this juncture, our sole request is a refund for the uncompleted work. The lien, which has been widely observed and criticized by numerous individuals as substandard, was initially something she was prepared to rectify at her own expense. However, you declined to provide the CMO3 file. Her subsequent request for the PSD file to facilitate re-rigging was met with an additional financial demand, which ultimately precluded any possibility of compromise. This was a decisive factor in our decision. And then Cyper made a tweet. I hate that I have to make a post like this, and I said I wouldn't. However, there is a tweet floating around mentioning my name and my business that I felt the need to respond to. VTuber drama is not something I wish to feed into ever, though I refuse to see and let myself be slandered for something I had no involvement in. I won't be linking directly to the tweet, nor mentioning any name. I'm simply putting this out there to defend myself since I'm being painted in a bad light for something I didn't even know happened. If you've seen the post, congrats, you have context. If you haven't, go on about your day. Thank you. September 1st, I put on a public statement that I am only handling commission inquiries through my public commission Discord server, and my VGN DMs are floated. Twitter DMs do not work /floated with bots, and my personal Discord DMs are supposed to be strictly personal. September 6th, I was commissioned for a full body rig by the person who posted the initial tweet. VGN announcements are visible across the main profile, so by that point, my commission server was public knowledge, and plastered across my VGN account, bio, and Twitter. September 21st, I completed a quote-unquote amazing full body rig that was quote-unquote absolutely loved, without issues in 2 weeks. So loved that they tipped me. November 3rd, said client comes back and asks for a simple toggle that I said I could give for free. They also asked for permission to have another rigger update their model. I gave them permission to have it updated and did not charge extra for the CMO3 files. By that point, I've already moved on to my next batch of commission, and their DMs happened to be buried as I got busy over the holidays. Since again it was all over November, December, they were trying to contact me. There was no effort to contact me in the one spot that I have said is the easiest place, and there were claims that they didn't know it existed when it's been visible on my profiles across every platform the entire time. Now I'm being mentioned in a post slandering my fellow studio artists for not delivering a free toggle and for not seeing their DM in the flood of DMs I have across every single suckmed, I'm not sure what that is, when my server has always been visible. And I'm also being accused of maliciously blocking a second client of the studio that I had no prior contact with ever. If your commission experience went by perfectly and you paid me no money later on for any updates, why mention me, the person who delivered you an amazing fully rigged model with a large amount of add-ons for less than 700 USD, discounted by 10% mind you, in 2 weeks, in a post for your friend to retweet to her 13k followers? Why do you feel entitled to publicly attempt to drag me down for something I had zero involvement with? I did not draw your friend's model. I did not rig her model. I did not know she existed past the 2 seconds I blocked her months before any of this, for no important reason other than to curate my space on the internet, just as every other person has the right to. I am absolutely appalled that it has gotten this far, and I need to go public, but whatever beef you have with me, you have with the people your friend commission should not involve me. And then Pandisa made another statement. It reads, full statement, context and warning. For transparency, all previous posts and threads within my control have been removed and consolidated into the single statement to prevent confusion and the spread of incomplete information. Clarification regarding third parties. It has been verified that both Miura and Cyberpunk were not aware of the full scope of the situation. They were operating on incomplete, misleading, or inaccurate information provided by the artist. This statement serves both as an apology to them and as a formal clarification that they should not be held responsible for any misinformation that may have appeared in early discussions. Warning to current and prospective VTubers. This section serves as a caution to VTubers and aspiring VTubers considering commissioning the artist known as Eddie, also operating under Tsukai Eddie, Elika, and related alliances. I am deeply hurt and disappointed by the situation, and I have been for a considerable time. I invested significant effort into building a personal friendship with her, publicly defending her against these exact concerns on multiple occasions, and supporting both her professional and personal development. I genuinely believed she was growing into a better version of herself. Unfortunately, it now appears that our support primarily served her interests rather than reflecting meaningful change. 5 years of ongoing issues. For other 5 years while serving as her model client, I experienced a persistent pattern of poor communication, repeated missed deadlines, lack of follow-through, unprofessional conduct, bad business practices. These issues affected not only me but multiple clients. This pattern predates my involvement and has led to her being labeled as a scammer within parts of the community by clients and other artists alike. Despite this history, I repeatedly advocated on her behalf, encouraged others to commission her work, including Mossy Fox, a creator with a substantial following. Securing that commission required significant personal credibility. Mossy Fox agreed only because I committed to personally managing the project to ensure accountability. However, Eri failed to meet expectations and ultimately removed me from overseeing the commission against both my wishes and Mossy Fox, personal impact and accommodation. Over the course of 5 years, I made numerous accommodations to compensate for delays and missed obligations, including rescheduling launch dates, canceling planned debuts, paying additional fees for expedited rigging, repeatedly adjusting timelines to accommodate non-delivery. I maintain extensive documentation of these interactions, including group chats and direct messages, demonstrating a consistent pattern of behavior. When a Reddit post surfaced raising concerns about her conduct, I publicly defended her and put my own reputation at risk because I believed in her talent and capacity for improvement. Documentation of these defenses is also preserved. Ultimately, I became another example of what many have informally referred to as the area experience: escalation to studio management. When the situation became untenable, I contacted the manager at the studio Annie joined in August 2025. Miura successfully addressed the issue. She handled the matter with professionalism, transparency, and integrity, both as an individual and as a representative of the studio. She demonstrated accountability and competence that merit recognition and support. Current position: we are not seeking conflict or harassment, only to warn through the misrepresentation the artist has set forth in the VTubing space set to date. At present, Eri has continued to disregard our statements and has once again vanished from the internet instead of accepting the responsibility and being a stand-up artist. She is no longer with the studio due to her inability to come clean to the people she was working with. Final statements: I stand firmly in support of Rebirth and Miura to demonstrate strong business ethics by truly investigating the situation to the best of their ability, based on the information available to them at the time. Through the process, they treated all parties with professionalism and respect. Once additional facts came to light, they continued to handle the matter with integrity and transparency. Their conduct reflects the level of accountability and ethical standards that I genuinely respect. As previously stated, I also highly recommend Cyberpunk to anyone seeking an ethical and professional rigor, particularly creators working within a budget. During an extremely stressful period, Cyber conducted business with compassion and professionalism. They provided clear communication, excellent customer service, and flexible payment options, including both a payment plan or a discount for paying in full. The final rig was completed in approximately 2 weeks at a cost under 700 SD, without compromising quality. The efficiency, fairness in pricing, and overall professionalism demonstrated through the process exceeded my expectations. Both Rebirth and Cyberpunk have shown the level of integrity and reliability that creators deserve when investing in their project. And to close it all off, Mossy Fox also made a last statement that reads, "Our last statement regarding the situation with Tsukai Eddie and Rebirth. Many of us saw a comparison video I had made poking fun at my custom models leading physics I had paid extra for, which not only amassed a large number of views and comments, but inevitably also brought to light many other issues as a whole. But with that comes assumptions, miscommunication, and misinformation. I want to make it incredibly clear that the rigger Cypher was a completely innocent party and was merely reached out to by Miura, Rebirth manager, after I expressed that I wasn't happy with my model, and I had no idea about any prior details or what had unfolded. Then blocking me was completely coincidental, which I'm absolutely okay with. Not everyone will like me, and I have many people blocked as well for various reasons. And it was not related to the situation between Pandesa and Tsukai Tsukai Eri in any capacity. I have had people bring up other artists to me that had absolutely zero relation to the situation, and were never even mentioned in those threads. Rebirth and Tsukai Eri are the only people involved. Do not harass other artists based on assumptions with zero facts. Miura, manager of Rebirth, reached out to me personally in private to clear the air and rectify the situation, which I appreciate. My only issue with the studio itself was the initial delivery of the model and issues I brought up, in which I was offered to pay another rigger through Rebirth to fix the problems or pay extra for the PSD to have it re-rigged another time. Since our discussion, Miura has agreed to send a partial refund, and we've settled the air. Miura made it clear to me that they were blatantly lied to by Tsukai Eri about her long history of ghosting clients and essentially scamming paying customers by numerous methods, which resulted in many buyer beware threads across multiple platforms, such as Facebook and Reddit. I can happily say that Tsukai Eri is no longer part of Rebirth after this incident, but this also means she will pop up at a later time under a new name, as per her repeated history of doing so. I have no problem answering any questions about Tsukai Eri, threads, past usernames, past victims, etc., but I do want to clarify that she is no longer with Rebirth. Therefore, I will not be making any further statements about the studio itself, as the way they will be conducting themselves and handling clients/artists in the future is no longer my concern. Although the art itself is beautiful, I will not be using the model, nor will I be having it re-rigged in the future due to the stain the situation has left on it. But I already have another model in the works by one of my favorite artists, and I'm incredibly excited to move forward and bring Mossy to life. Thank you for taking the time to read my last statement on the matter. And without luck, this will be the only drama stemming from my page for the foreseeable future. Mossy. And Cypher replied saying, sending both of you lots of love. And Mossy replied, thank you. We're sorry your name got dragged into it. You're an amazing artist who absolutely didn't deserve that. And this seems to be the situation. What do you think? Don't forget to leave a comment. I'm curious on what you say. Bye bye!